The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 23. Fredman left the People's Hospital with great anger and rushed towards Wei's house with his 2 bodyguards. As soon as he arrived at the door of Wei's house, a member of the Wei family hurriedly greeted him and asked flatly, "Fredman, why are you here so late?" However, Fredman looked at him gloomily, slapped him over, and roared, "Get out of here!" The anger and humiliation in his heart at the moment, like a boiling active volcano, may erupt at any time. Immediately, Fredman took 2 bodyguards and walked into the gate of Wei's house. As soon as he entered the yard, he said viciously, "Young Zheng Wei, get out of here. 1 step later, I will kill you." With Fredman's roar, the entire Wei family suddenly jumped. Not long after, young Zheng Wei didn't wear his clothes properly, and he walked out hurriedly, supported by Baron Wei. When he came out to look at Fredman, who was full of anger, he also looked surprised and quickly asked, "Mr. Wilson, what are you doing? You just took medicine and restored your former glory. Isn't it right that you should be upset at home? Turn the dragon to the phoenix? I turn your mother." Fredman observed at young Zheng Wei and pointed at young Zheng Wei and said, "You immortal, dare you to use me as a guinea pig and try your Wei family's broken medicine? Now my roots are rotten, if you don't give me solve it, I will destroy your Wei family." Young Zheng Wei's brain buzzed, and he immediately understood Fredman's words. The CO author had a problem with taking medicine. So he hurriedly calmed and said, "Mr. Wilson, this must be a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Listen to my explanation. Our Wei family is also very kind, and never think of you as a guinea pig, but you happen to have this need. Thinking that the medicine will be produced and let you take it first is entirely out of concern for you." Shaking with anger, Fredman took off his trousers in public. His eyes were cold and scary, and he pointed to the place where he had festered, and said, "It's so bad that it's going to be amputated. You tell me this is a misunderstanding." Young Zheng Wei's eyes didn't work well, so he rubbed his eyes carefully. Under this look, he immediately clamped his legs subconsciously. His eldest son Baron Wei and illegitimate son Liang Wei were watching them, and their faces were equally scared. It really sucks. How could this be? He doesn't blame Fredman for delivering the goods. What will be the replacement? Baron Wei hurriedly said, "Brother Wilson, don't be angry, maybe the effect of the medicine has not been fully developed. You can wait 2 days to see, wait 2 more days? I don't need to go to the hospital anymore, it just sucks." Fredman lifted his pants and yelled at Baron Wei furiously, "Wait for your mother, I will blame you as a fool. If you hadn't lied to me, saying that your Wei family medicine could cure me, I wouldn't end up like this." After he finished speaking, he said to the 2 bodyguards around him, "Give me one of his hands first." These 2 bodyguards are both good players. At first he brought 6 bodyguards to Oris Hill, but Charlie abolished 4 of them, and now only these 2 remain. However, even if there are only 2 bodyguards left, the Wei family dare not fight against him. After all, Fredman is the chairman of Future Company Group, and his strength is much stronger than that of the Wei family. The Wei family originally hoped that the new medicine would allow them to rise, but now it seems that the new medicine is not as good as the old one. At least the old medicine will not make people rot, at most, it is a little liver and kidney toxicity for many years. Therefore, if Fredman really wants to fight the Wei family, the strength of the Wei family is indeed not enough. At this time, Fredman's two bodyguards came forward and directly grabbed Baron away. It was useless to let him cry for mercy. He snapped his right hand with a click, and folded it into a strange angle. People can't help but straighten their hair. My hand hurts so much, young Zheng Wei was angry and frightened in his heart. Baron Awei was his eldest son and his most beloved son. However, seeing his son's hand being broken, he dared not speak. At this time, the pharmacist Professor K also rushed over and said, "Mr. Young Zheng Wei, Fredman, what's the situation?" Fredman looked back and couldn't help but sneered, "You just came here, calling me." Professor K was dumbfounded and said, "Fredman, misunderstanding, I cured your illness, didn't you say you want to gift me the villa?" Fredman sneered and said, "I will send you to live in a villa in the Hell Temple." The bodyguard pushed Professor K to the ground, and it crackled like a hammer. One of them hit his temple with a punch. Professor K rolled his eyes and passed out. At this time, the entire Wei family was frightened, and Fredman was really cruel. In fact, Fredman is not to blame. From losing his ability to now beginning to fester, his whole body and mind have suffered a huge blow that ordinary people can't imagine. If he really needs to be amputated, he will be completely crazy. Fredman was still puzzled at this moment. He stepped forward, grabbed young Zheng Wei by the collar, and threatened, "I will give you two ways now. 1. I will destroy your Wei family now, and 2. Immediately take my illness and cure it, which one do you choose?" Young Zheng Wei's face was extremely pale, and he begged, "Mr. Wilson spared me, I will choose the second one. We, the Wei family, must find a way to cure your illness." Fredman asked in a cold voice, "How long will it take to get it done? If my roots are really not preserved, I will let people kill you. I want you to be buried with the Wei family." Young Zheng Wei nodded as if pounding garlic and blurted out, "We also have many very powerful doctors in the Wei family. I will let them come over and give you antibacterial and anti-inflammatory treatment first. It should be able to persist for a while." Fredman sat down on the main seat of the sofa in the living room and said coldly, "Hurry up and find the doctor." Young Zheng Wei did not dare to delay, and quickly asked Baron Awei to contact the team of doctors from Wei's Pharmaceuticals to come over. After the doctor came over, they immediately infused Fredman with antibiotics, and then treated the ulceration part. However, the doctors of the Wei family agreed with the doctors of the People's Hospital that simply antibacterial and anti-inflammatory cannot solve the problem, but can only delay the speed of the ulceration, but the end result is amputation. Fortunately, through processing, it can be delayed for a few days. In a few days, if the Wei family could not find a cure for Fredman, Fredman still had to undergo amputation. After Fredman infused the liquid, he said to the Wei family, "I will give you 1 day. If it can't be solved by tomorrow night, the Wei family will not need to exist in the future." Young Zheng Wei complied with a full mouth and respectfully said, "Chairman Wilson, rest assured, we will definitely go all out." The eldest son Baron Awei pulled him aside and whispered nervously, "Dad, the doctor said, there is basically no good way to treat it. What should we do? Young Zhengwei gritted his teeth and said, then I have to find a way too. Otherwise, would it be possible to watch the Wei family's death? Baron Wei was worried and said to his father young Zhengwei, Dad, let's change the property and run away with the money. Otherwise, if Fredman really wants to attack us, we will be in trouble. Hearing this, young Zhengwei cursed, prodigal gadgets have become sellers? So anxious to sell, is the 1 billion family capacity sold for 200 million? This is all my life's hard work. Liang Wei, the illegitimate son on the side, also nodded hurriedly and said, Brother, Wei's pharmaceuticals were made by our dad's hard work all his life. How can we sell it like that? Baron Wei raised his hand and slapped him in the face, angrily said, You wild species, where do you speak? Liang Wei, who received a slap in the face, took 2 steps back and covered his face. Although he felt wronged, he said very firmly, Brother, even if you hit me, I have to say that Wei's pharmaceutical is the work of Dad. You can't sell it. I kill you. Baron Wei was furious and was about to attack Liang Wei. Young Zheng Wei, who has never looked down upon Liang Wei, stopped Baron Wei, who was about to do it, and said coldly, Your brother is right. Something went wrong, we must find a way to solve it. Instead of selling the life's hard work and running away. After finishing speaking, young Zheng Wei snorted and said, Today, I leave it here, you brothers, who can solve this crisis, who will be the chairman of Wei's Pharmaceuticals in the future. The person who cannot solve the crisis is destined inability to lead Wei's Pharmaceuticals. Baron Wei suddenly panicked and blurted out, Dad! How can Wei's pharmaceutical be handed over to this wild species? Young Zheng Wei coldly snorted, Is it a wild species? It's all my species. If you, the eldest son, is not able to bear it, you will abdicate to him. When Liang Wei on the side heard this, his heart was suddenly very excited. I have endured all these years in Weijian, suffered all the humiliation, and finally waited for a chance to become a leader. In fact, in young Zheng Wei's opinion, it is naturally impossible for the family business to be inherited by an illegitimate child. However, his eldest son Baron Wei is really not enough to be competitive, so he must be stimulated and forced to find a solution to the current crisis. When the Wei family was looking for treatment for Fredman all over the world, Charlie just returned to the bedroom after taking a shower. His wife, Claire, was wearing a nightgown, lying on the bed, kicking her 2 white jade-like legs at will, swiping the phone in a leisurely manner. Claire is usually too busy at work and under great pressure. Every night, playing on phone and reading novels in bed have become her biggest leisure. As soon as Charlie lay down on his own floor, Claire suddenly screamed, and the phone in her hand was thrown out and hit his face. Charlie couldn't care about the pain, and asked her hurriedly, What's wrong with you, wife? Claire's expression was extremely ugly, and said, The YouTube suddenly pulled out a video, it is disgusting. Charlie said curiously, Let me see how disgusting it is. With that said, he was going to get Claire's mobile phone that had fallen on the floor. Claire hurriedly said, Oh, don't look at it, it's disgusting. Charlie smiled and said, Where can the nausea be no more? After speaking, he picked it up and took a look, and was stunned. Well, it turned out to be Wu Qi, who liked to give girls psychological hints. From the appearance of his hysterics in the video, he can be sure that the hypnotism he gave him worked. It's really pleasing to see him being so frustrated. He has to eat it every hour. This person is basically over for the rest of his life. There is no chance to ruin the little girl. So Charlie locked the screen of her phone and smiled and said to Claire, "I've heard of this guy." "Really?" Claire asked in surprise, "How did you hear of him?" Charlie said, "This guy is very bad. He likes to brainwash the little girl, and then force the little girl to self-harm and commit suicide." With that said, Charlie recounted the criminal history of this guy. When Claire heard this, she immediately said angrily, "This guy is too damned. Who is not raised by his parents, why should he hurt others?" Charlie said earnestly, "In this society, there are always some bags who like to hurt others for pleasure. Such SCM is the dregs of the society. Sooner or later, we will get rid of it." Claire nodded approvingly, and said, "It seems that he deserves what he has become today." After watching this kind of video, Claire felt a little lingering, so she stopped playing with the mobile phone, but stretched out and said, "Oh, I'm sleepy. Charlie, help me charge my mobile phone. I am going to bed." "Okay," Charlie replied and put the charge to her phone. In the middle of the night, when Charlie was about to fall asleep, his cell phone suddenly buzzed twice. He turned on the cell phone and saw that it was a WeChat message sent to him by Orville. "Mr. Wade, there are a few Japanese people who are lying in ambush at Mr. Shi the clinic. It seems that he is about to act on the genius Dr. Tiankai." Charlie said, "Some of them are probably trying to rob the old master of medicine." Orville blurted out, "These gangsters dare to get the idea of a magical medicine. Mr. Wade, with your word, I will immediately take the brothers to catch them and take them to my kennel. Chop them up and feed the Tibetan Mastiff." "Don't," Charlie said with a smile, "this group of people are not small, they are the eldest son of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical in Japan. I am going to dig a big hole for him. You let your brothers secretly protect Tiankai's safety. As for them, if they grab the medicine, let them take it away. I deliberately prepared the medicine for them." In order to pit Ichiro, Charlie specially refined a few fake pills and gave them to Tiankai. "This pill is magical, no matter what the other party's disease is, even if he is on the verge of death, and only a breath is left, just take one pill, and he will be able to return to the light and live for an hour or two. But its consequences are also terrible, that is, after these 2 hours of vigorous life, the person taking the medicine will die immediately, and there is no cure. In fact, this pill is not a poison in itself, but a panacea that can ensure that the other party finishes his dying instructions. The effect of the medicine is to overdraw all vitality to support 1 or 2 hours of return to light. In this way, the person taking the medicine can clearly explain all the funeral matters. This kind of medicine was specially configured for emperors and generals in ancient times. Generally, when the emperor was dying of illness, he would prepare a pill of returning light, so that at least he could arrange the affairs well before he died. But in modern times, this thing is actually useless. Moreover, its final medicinal effect is a bit too hard. Even if a healthy person eats it, after 2 hours of life, he will definitely be cold. Therefore, in modern times, this medicine is more like a poison. Charlie had seen this medicine in the 9 profound heaven scriptures a long time ago, and felt that it was useless, so he didn't take it seriously. However, this time he felt that this fake med finally came in handy and could be used to pit Ichiro. After explaining Orville, Charlie called Isaac again. As soon as the call was made, he immediately asked him, after Ichiro succeeds tonight, he will definitely escape from China in the shortest time, so you must set up a net in Oris Hill. Anyone can run within his group, except he can't run. Isaac said immediately, "Don't worry, Mr. Wade, I have all arranged. If this Ichiro runs away, he will meet you." After that, Isaac promised, "The medicine that Ichiro robbed, I also promised by the head that they will never be taken out of China." "Don't," Charlie said hurriedly, "all I want is to let them take the medicine away. Remember, medicine can leave China, and dog legs can leave China, but Ichiro must not leave China." Isaac hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, I understand. Don't worry, Ichiro will not escape." "Okay." Charlie smiled slightly, and said, "After catching Ichiro, just find me a hidden place to take care of him, and I will meet him in person." "Okay, master." Ichiro didn't know, at this time there was already an invisible big net, tightly covering his head. At this time, he was sitting in a Maybach sedan, which was parked opposite to the clinic, and several of his men were already hidden around the door of the clinic, ready to touch in at any time. His father, Masao Kobayashi, has been bedridden and paralyzed for 3 years. In the past 3 years, his father has been investigating him, and his younger brother Jiro, according to his father, whoever made great contributions to Kobayashi Pharmaceutical, can inherit his president position. His younger brother Jiro, himself an expert in pharmaceutics, has been studying Kampo for many years, so in the past few years, he has created a lot of Kampo medicines for his family. The sales are very good, so he is highly regarded by his father. In contrast, Ichiro is a bit sad. He is not a student of pharmacy, but of finance. This kind of person is more suitable for real estate and can blow bubbles in various ways, but it is really a bit for medicine. Doesn't match well. For things like medicine, it is necessary to rely on real good medicines to open the market. If you have a magic drug, you can make a lot of money just by relying on the word of mouth of consumers. But if your medicine is ineffective, no amount of advertising will work. Consumers will never use it again after using it once. Therefore, his brother Jiro has a much greater chance of success in the family than his eldest son. As a last resort, he came to China to participate in the China Traditional Medicine Expo, in order to see if he could also discover some good Chinese prescriptions, and bring them back to the family for use. If he could make a remarkable achievement, he would have a chance. Take the initiative. When he heard at the exposition that the Chinese genius Dr. Tiankai had cured a high paraplegia some time ago, his whole body suddenly became excited. If you can get this prescription, then you will not only restore his father, but also bring huge business opportunities to the family. It is even possible for Kobayashi Pharmaceutical to grow and develop several times, dozens of times. Therefore, his future is all pinned on tonight. Thinking of this, Ichiro, who was so excited, immediately called his father. The paralyzed dad received his call and asked, "Ichiro, where have you been these days? Why didn't you come to see me? Ichiro hurriedly said, Dad, I am seeking medicine for you in China. I heard that there is a genius doctor in China who actually cured a patient with high paraplegia some time ago. Is this true? Masao Kobayashi said in surprise, Is there a magical doctor in China who can cure high paraplegia? Yes, said Ichiro, I have checked the records of the hospital and confirmed that the patient was really cured, and I have also been inquiring about it. The people in the hospital said that it was the Chinese genius doctor's half a magic medicine that cures the high paraplegia patient. Half a magic drug. Masao Kobayashi was a little bit incoherent with excitement. During the 3 years he was paralyzed, life felt extremely painful. He himself is a very famous entrepreneur and has wealth. However, he was suddenly paralyzed in bed and lost the opportunity to enjoy life. This made him feel a little miserable. In the past few years, he has been looking for a way to heal himself, but in the world, there is no medical method that can restore the paralyzed patient to the original. Even if it is physical therapy, it is difficult for him to stand up, let alone walk and live like ordinary people. However, he suddenly heard his son say that Chinese genius doctors have such superb medical treatment methods, and he suddenly yearned for it. So, he couldn't help but exhorted excitedly, Ichiro, even if you spend 100 million, you have to buy this magical medicine. Ichiro hurriedly said, Dad, that genius doctor doesn't know what is good or bad, and is unwilling to sell me the medicine. I am ready to do it tonight to snatch his medicine and send it to Tokyo overnight for you to take. As he said, Ichiro said again, by the way, I heard that this genius doctor has more than one genius medicine. If you eat the leftovers, you can study and analyze it for our team of pharmacists. If we can crack this prescription, then our Kobayashi pharmaceutical is about to develop. We will definitely be able to become the world's top pharmaceutical company with this drug. Win glory. Okay. Great. Masao Kobayashi said excitedly, You really deserve to be my good son. You must do it beautifully for me, and do it as soon as possible. Ichiro hurriedly said, Dad, don't worry, my private jet is already waiting at Oris Hill Airport. After the medicine is available, I will leave a few people behind, and then immediately go to Oris Hill Airport to fly back to Tokyo, as long as my plane can go smoothly. Taking off, then no one can ever stop me. Masao Kobayashi said excitedly, In this case, you will be able to arrive in Tokyo 3 hours after the plane takes off. I can take this magical medicine for up to 4 hours. Great! I finally have a chance to stand up again. Up! Ichiro burst into tears and said, Father! With the blessing of Amaterasu, you will definitely enjoy endless glory and wealth in this life, and illnesses will definitely leave you. This is good. Masao Kobayashi was excited and said, Ichiro, you must be more careful and don't miss it. I'm in Tokyo, waiting for your good news. Ichiro said immediately, Father, please rest assured, I must come back with the magic medicine and let you stand up again. After hanging up the phone, Ichiro was so excited that he almost went crazy. If he can get this miraculous medicine, then he will be able to become the successor of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical. This time in China, it is really a bargain. At this moment, the assistant on the Maybach co-pilot turned around and said, Mr. Kobayashi, it's already 11 o'clock, shall we? Ichiro nodded and sneered, do it. The assistant took out the walkie-talkie and immediately ordered, do it now. As soon as the voice fell, 6 men in black sneaked into Tiankai's clinic quietly. Tonight, Tiankai is living in the small bedroom behind the clinic. He is here, waiting for the Japanese to come. However, to be safe, he still let his granddaughter's Hovia go to the hotel. After the 6 men in black touched into the clinic, they immediately came to Tiankai's sleeping room and saw Tiankai lying on the bed. One of them immediately covered his mouth, pointed his gun at his temple, and said coldly, "Don't yell, cooperate with us obediently and spare you for not dying." Tiankai panicked and asked, "You, what are you going to do?" "Hand over the magical medicine." The man in black said coldly, "Otherwise, blow your head." Tiankai trembled with fright, and blurted out, "Don't shoot, don't shoot. I'll give it to you." After speaking, he reached into the small pocket inside the pajamas and took out a very high-end small wooden box. The wooden box also carried the temperature of Tiankai's body as he kept it close to the body, showing how precious it is. The other party took the wooden box, opened it, and found that there were 4 pills in it. He was so excited that he immediately reported through the walkie-talkie, "Report Mr. Kobayashi, we have found 4 magical medicines." 4. Great! Ichiro said excitedly, "Quickly withdraw. Give me the medicine." The man asked, "What about this old thing?" Ichiro said, "Knock him out. As long as we fight for an hour, we will succeed." "Okay." The other party immediately knocked Tiankai's head with the spear. Tiankai tilted his head and immediately passed out. At this time, many of the good players Orville found were staring secretly. If the other party really wants to hurt Tiankai's life, then follow Charlie's instructions and act on them immediately. But if the other party didn't mean to hurt the old master's life, he would have to work hard and bear it first. Tiankai was indeed knocked out, but fortunately, there was no danger to his life. After these guys succeeded, they immediately withdrew from clinic. One of them came to the Maybach car on the opposite side of the road. With the window down, he hurriedly handed the wooden box to Ichiro and said, "Mr. Kobayashi, here is the medicine." Ichiro couldn't wait to open his eyes, and he was shaking with excitement when he smelled the strong fragrance of medicine. "Great!" Ichiro said excitedly, "Your lord, let's go to the airport first and set off for Tokyo immediately." After that, he immediately told the driver, "Drive. Go to the airport at the fastest speed." Then, he said to his assistant on the first officer, "Notify the crew to prepare for takeoff now. After I arrive, the plane will take off immediately without any delay. In case the Chinese react and stop us from taking off, everything it's all over." The assistant smiled and said, "Mr. Ichiro, don't worry, the Chinese can't respond so quickly. We'll drive to the airport in half an hour at most. It's also very fast to go through the VIP channel and go through the security check. An hour later, we must have taken off. At that time, even the gods will not be able to stop us." Ichiro's Maybach immediately drove away and directly boarded the airport expressway, preparing to reach the airport at the fastest speed, and then return to Tokyo by private jet. Along the way, Ichiro's excitement speeded up. He repeatedly looked at the 4 magic medicines and muttered to himself, "The Kobayashi family will rely on it to build a global presence. At that time, I will also rely on it to become Kobayashi Pharmaceutical Co., Ltd's president." Maybach speeded all the way and soon arrived at Oris Hill Airport. As soon as the car stopped, Ichiro was about to get off and enter the airport at the fastest speed. However, at the moment he just got out of the car, suddenly 8 Mercedes Big G off-road vehicles drove over and surrounded him and his Maybach. Soon, 30 bodyguards in black came down from the 8 cars. These people are all masters carefully trained by Isaac, with extraordinary strength. Isaac got out of a Big G, looked at Ichiro, and said coldly, "Mr. Kobayashi, our master is here, please come over and chat." "Your master?" Ichiro hid the pill in his pocket and asked nervously, "Who is your master? Do you know who I am?" "I'm the vice chairman of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical." Isaac stretched out his hand and patted his face, and said indifferently, "You Kobayashi Pharmaceutical is a Japanese company. What are you pretending to be in China? There is an old Chinese saying that the dragon is not the river. Japan and China are separated by the sea. What are you pretending to be with me?" Ichiro suddenly became nervous. He didn't know what these people were stopping him for. Was it because of magical medicine, or something else? If it was because of the magical medicine, then it was really a bit dangerous this time, not to mention, this group of people is so strong, it is difficult to let go, and it is impossible for him to escape. However, if they are because of other things, does that mean that he can still send the medicine back to Japan first? Thinking of this, he pretended to be calm and asked, "Who is your young master?" Isaac said indifferently, "Mr. Kobayashi, your Kobayashi Pharmaceutical has plagiarized so many ancient Chinese prescriptions. Presumably your family must have a good understanding of the situation in China. You should have heard of the Wade family." "Wade family?" Ichiro was shocked. How could he have never heard of East Cliff Wade's family? After all, this is China's top family, and its family strength is also ranked top in the world. Even the big super chaebol in Japan are not as good as the Wade family, not to mention that there is only one Kobayashi Pharmaceutical. He panicked all of a sudden, and blurted out, "I don't know what your young master is asking for." Isaac said indifferently, "If you have anything, you will know if you come with me." Ichiro asked nervously, "What if I don't go?" Isaac smiled faintly, took out a pistol from his arms, and said lightly, "Since our master has ordered, then I must take you there. If I can't take you alive, then you will die." Ichiro was worried, but he was more concerned about whether he could send the magic medicine back first. This is the key to laying his foundation in the family. Thinking of this, he asked tentatively, "Can I go with you and let my assistant go back to Japan first? He still has a lot of important things to deal with." Isaac laughed and said generously, "Of course, everyone except you can go." Ichiro breathed a sigh of relief, and quietly handed the box containing the magic medicine to the assistant, patted his shoulder, and said, "You go back by plane first, tell my father, just say I'm fine, and I will come back soon to meet him." Ichiro gave the stolen magic medicine to the assistant. Seeing the assistant enter the airport, he was relieved and asked Isaac, "I don't know where your master is." Isaac said lightly, "You'll know if you follow me." After speaking, they winked at the two people around him, and they immediately clamped him to the left and right, and took one of the big GS. The convoy quickly left the airport and headed to the dog farm opened by Orville in the suburbs. On the way to the dog farm, Isaac called Charlie and said, "Mr. Wade Ichiro has been controlled by me. I will take him to the dog farm of Orville. If you want to come over, I'll send someone to pick you up." Charlie glanced at Claire, who was asleep, and said, after arranging the car for 5 minutes, "Come downstairs to my house." After making a bracelet for Claire with a clam that was worth hundreds of millions, Claire was able to rest very securely while wearing it. She would almost never wake up at night, so Charlie didn't worry that she would find out. 5 minutes later, Charlie went downstairs. A Rolls-Royce was already parked downstairs. The driver Charlie had never seen him, but he recognized Charlie, opened the door respectfully, and said, "Mr. Wade, please." Charlie nodded, got in the car, and the car drove out of the city quickly. When Charlie arrived at Orville's kennel, Isaac had already arrived. This is the first time Charlie has come to Orville's dog farm. Although he has heard about this place for a long time, he has never been to this place. The location of this kennel is very small and the scale is very large. As soon as he got off the car, he heard countless dogs called a group, and the voices of these dogs were very low and heavy, and they sounded like large dogs. It is said that Mr. Orville set up this kennel mainly to raise, breed and train some fighting dogs for underground dog fighting. People in the underground world are obsessed with fighting dogs, and they often organize competitions, betting tens of millions. In addition to raising dogs, Mr. Orville also regarded this place as a torture ground. Some people who needed to evaporate from the world were sent here by him to become rations for vicious dog fighting. In the yard of the kennel, there is a 3-story building. This building is usually used by the staff for rest and office. There is also a warehouse for storing dog food underground, and a secret room for Mr. Orville to use lynching. At this time, Ichiro was tied with his hands and hung on a frame in the dark. The underground world of Oris Hill is no different from the underground worlds of Hong Kong and Taiwan. It is very strict with rules and regulations, and its various habits are the same as those of the youth gang 100 years ago. Once the interests of the gang are violated, the first thing is to face is lynching. Also detained here with Ichiro, and the 6 men in black who robbed Tiankai's magic medicine. When Ichiro saw the 6 of them here, he was frightened. He realized that this matter might have something to do with the magic drug. He didn't know how the Chinese would deal with him if they knew that the magic drug was taken away by him. At this time, Charlie stepped in. Isaac greeted him respectfully and bowed, "Mr. Wade Ichiro and his 6 doglegs are here." Charlie nodded, looked at Ichiro, and smiled slightly, "Mr. Kobayashi, let's meet again." "Ah, you are," Ichiro suddenly remembered Charlie. At the traditional medicine expo, when he went to ask Tiankai for a prescription, he was right there, and because he was just an assistant or subordinate of Tiankai, he didn't expect that he turned out to be the young master of the Wade family. Charlie looked at the hanged Ichiro, and said coldly, "Mr. Kobayashi, you are so courageous. You dare to send someone to administer the old magic medicine. Are you tired of your life?" Hearing this, Ichiro suddenly panicked and blurted out, "Mr. Wade, this is all a misunderstanding." Misunderstanding? Charlie pointed to the 6 people in black who were tied on the ground next to him, and asked with a sneer, "Aren't these 6 people yours?" Ichiro hurriedly shook his head, "No, I don't even know them." Charlie nodded and asked the 6 people back, "Do you know him?" The 6 people looked blank, as if they could not speak Chinese at all. At this time, Isaac stepped forward and translated a sentence in Japanese. The 6 people also shook their heads and talked a lot. Soon, Isaac said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, they said they didn't know this Ichiro." "Oh." Charlie nodded, and said lightly, "Since you don't know him, then pick one from them, chop and feed the dog, and then ask the remaining 5 people." "Okay." Isaac immediately translated Charlie's words, and the 6 of them were shocked and dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that Charlie only asked one sentence, and he was about to arrest someone and feed to the dog. Could it be that he really has such courage? Charlie said to Mr. Orville at this time, "Mr. Orville, your venue is more familiar to you. Take these 6 people out, weigh them one by one, choose the heaviest one, chop him for dogs, and let the rest 5 observe it live. Then bring them back for questioning." Mr. Orville asked respectfully, "Mr. Wade, what if they admit in advance?" Charlie said lightly, "It's too late now, so you have to chop off even if they admit in advance." Ichiro's fright is gone. The difference from the 6 subordinates is that he understands and immediately understands the meaning of Charlie's words. The living person chopped up to feed the dog. Is this Wade family's young master so cruel? What if he really wants to chop him? The 6 unknown men in black were taken out by Mr. Orville's men. 10 minutes later, they heard the dogs in the entire kennel boil. Subsequently, the remaining 5 subordinates were dragged back like dead dogs. Without exception, all 5 of them were frightened and convulsed violently. As soon as they entered, the 5 people went crazy and yelled at Ichiro in Japanese. Isaac helped Charlie to translate, "Mr. Wade, these people are telling Ichiro that they saw their companion was chopped to feed the dog." Charlie nodded, then looked at Ichiro. He was so scared that he passed out. So Charlie said coldly, "Ichiro, I'll give you one last chance, to be honest, otherwise, your fate will be exactly the same as the one just now." Although Ichiro wanted to contribute to the family, it was not based on the premise that he would die, so when he realized that Charlie might really kill him, he was almost shocked. So he hurriedly pleaded, "Mr. Wade, I will speak, I will say everything. I let them snatch Tiankai's magical medicine. Please forgive me, or you can say the number, I am willing to pay for it." Charlie asked with a black face, "Where is the medicine?" Ichiro said, "The medicine, I let my assistant take it to the airport." Charlie asked again, "Has the plane taken off?" Ichiro nodded again and again, "It should have taken off, and it should be out of China's airspace now." Charlie gritted his teeth and said, "How dare you snatch the magic medicine?" "Good. Very good, since Chinese magic medicine has been taken to Japan by your people, then I will save your life." In China. Ichiro was so scared that Charlie cried. He is not a dead man himself, but a rich young master, thinking in his heart to win glory for the family, which is also based on what he can enjoy. Now that he was caught by Charlie and trapped in a kennel, he might at any time incarnate the delicious food in the mouths of countless evil dogs. At this time, he was naturally afraid and regretful. So he cried and said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, I beg you, tell me the number, no matter how much money, I am willing to pay you. Otherwise, I will call my father and let him inform the crew." The plane turned around directly back to Oris Hill and returned the medicine to you intact. Do you think it's okay? Charlie said, "You're less bluffing me, you treat me as if I don't know?" Many companies now have very advanced component analysis equipment. When you put things in the equipment, you can analyze all the components in a few minutes. Kobayashi Pharmaceutical itself, it's a big pharmaceutical company. There must be such an instrument, right? Ichiro nodded like pounding garlic, and cried and said, "There are real ones, but I didn't bring them this time when I came to China. So you can rest assured, as long as the magic drug is not sent to our laboratory at Kobayashi Pharmaceutical, we can't get into the ingredients." Charlie sneered and said, "Do you think I will believe it if you say it? Maybe you have this kind of instrument on your plane, maybe you have now got a list of all the ingredients of the magic medicine, maybe you have scraped a little from the magic medicine. Powder, this powder is enough for you to go back and study the ingredients." Ichiro cried and said, "Mr. Wade, I will use my personality to vouch for you." Charlie slapped him directly, and cursed, "You are a robber and thief, and you mention your personality with me." Ichiro suddenly had nothing to say. Charlie is right. He is indeed a robber and thief. Talking about personality at this time is really a little black humor. Ichiro hurriedly asked, "Mr. Wade, then you say a solution, as long as it is within my ability, I will definitely follow it." Charlie said, "In fact, it is simple. Since you have stolen this magical medicine, then I guess the formula must have been obtained by you, so it is better for you to directly pay for the formula of this medicine." Ichiro nodded immediately and said, "No problem. Absolutely no problem. Mr. Wade, you can make a price, and I can report to my family immediately." Charlie said indifferently, 10 billion, otherwise, I will kill you. By the way, I will expose your Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals' theft of formulas internationally, so that your Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals' reputation will be discredited all over the world." Ichiro was taken aback and blurted out, "Mr. Charlie, 10 billion is too much, we really don't have so much money, tell me." Charlie said coldly, "I have already investigated your Kobayashi Pharmaceutical, and the benefits of your Kobayashi Pharmaceutical are still very good, with a net profit of 2 billion a year, plus some time ago you just borrowed a large sum of money from the bank to invest in the construction of Asia's largest production base in Osaka, Japan. This money should be in your Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals account." Ichiro tremblingly said, "Mr. Wade, let's tell you, this money is the most important thing for us at Kobayashi Pharmaceutical. It is completely controlled by my father. I am not in charge." Charlie nodded and said, "Then call your father and tell him." Immediately. After speaking, Charlie said to Isaac, "People let go of his right hand and give him his mobile phone." Isaac personally let go of his right hand and handed him his mobile phone. Ichiro had to pluck up courage and call his father. At this time, Masao Kobayashi was anxiously waiting for the magic medicine to arrive in Tokyo. He himself was really impatient, so he had his family put him in an ambulance and sent him directly to the airport to wait. The Kobayashi family has an eye-catching eye in Tokyo, and their private jet has an independent hangar at Tokyo Airport. There is also a very high-end lounge in this hangar, which is owned by the Kobayashi family. Therefore, Masao Kobayashi took his second son, Jiro, right here, waiting for the magic medicine to land. Suddenly received a call from Ichiro, Masao Kobayashi hurriedly asked, "Ichiro, I heard that you didn't board the plane when the plane took off? Where are you now?" Ichiro hurriedly said, "Father, I was left behind by the Wade family of Eastcliff. He accused us of stealing magical medicine and prescriptions. Now he wants us to buy out the patents for the prescriptions with 10 billion. Otherwise, I will be required to give my life and he will expose Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals' theft of prescriptions." "What?" Masao Kobayashi blurted out loudly. "Why are you so careless in your affairs?" Ichiro cried out, "Father, I'm already very careful, but I still don't know why I was discovered by them, but now you must save me, otherwise, I will die." Masao Kobayashi said coldly, 10 billion is simply a fantasy. I will never agree to it. If they can agree to 1 billion, I can accept it. Charlie has been listening to Isaac's translation. Hearing this, he sneered and said, "Mr. Masao Kobayashi, with all due respect, the magic medicine you stole is a magic medicine with strong repairing ability to deal with your own injury, high position. Paraplegia can be cured, not to mention other similar diseases. If this drug is put on the market, it will make at least 10 billion a year. This is our cheap bargain, understand?" Masao Kobayashi snorted and said, "How do I know if this medicine is as godly as you say?" Charlie said, "Simple, in more than an hour, our magic medicine will land in Tokyo. I heard that you are also paralyzed in bed. At that time, you can take our magic medicine and you will be able to recover in 10 minutes at most. When you personally experience the effects of the medicine, pay the money, otherwise, I will immediately expose your son's drug stealing to the world, so that your Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals' reputation will be discredited." After speaking, Charlie said again, "Oh, yes, your son will definitely die by then." Masao Kobayashi was also a little nervous at this time. The evidence that his son was caught and the medicine was taken by others, if he refuses to cooperate, once exposed, Kobayashi Pharmaceutical will indeed be spurned by the world. At that time, the Japanese government will also prohibit its own production of this magic drug in compliance with international law. In that way, it would have been a waste of water in the bamboo basket, failing to fight a fox, and causing a commotion. What's more, it is also possible to cost him the life of his son. However, if this medicine really has such a good effect, then 10 billion is really nothing. If he gives this 10 billion to Charlie, it is estimated that he will be able to earn it back within 1 year, and the next year will be blood earning up many times. Thinking of this, Masao Kobayashi immediately said, "Okay. If your magical medicine really restores me to the same level as before, then I will give you 10 billion and buy out this prescription exclusively." After an hour, a Global Express private jet landed at Tokyo Narita Airport. After the plane landed, it taxied all the way to its own hangar. In the hangar, Kobayashi has been waiting for a long time. As soon as the plane entered the hangar and stopped and the cabin door opened, Ichiro's assistant jumped down eagerly, holding the medicine box in both hands, and ran to Masao Kobayashi. At this time, Masao Kobayashi was sitting in a wheelchair looking forward to it, his second son, Jiro Kobayashi, behind him, pushing the wheelchair blankly. Jiro was very annoyed in his heart. Originally, he was already in the family heirs competition, relying on his strength to hold down his brother, but he did not expect that he would go to China to steal a magic drug. If this medicine is so magical as it is said, then it can not only cure the father's disease but also bring huge profits to Kobayashi Pharmaceutical. At that time, the little advantage that he had accumulated for so many years will be gone. Ichiro's assistant offered the magic medicine to Masao Kobayashi and blurted out, "Chairman. This is the magic medicine that the vice-chairman desperately obtained, and asked me to give it to you." Masao Kobayashi nodded, and couldn't wait to say, "Give me the pill." The assistant hurriedly opened the box and handed the pill, and the servant next to him hurriedly delivered a glass of warm water. Masao Kobayashi tremblingly took the pill, put it under his nose and smelled it, and exclaimed, "It's so rich and pure medicine. The smell of this medicine is refreshing." After speaking, he opened his mouth without hesitation, swallowed the pill, and took a sip of water to take it. Everyone is staring at him, wondering if this magical medicine is as magical as it is said. It is said that even high paraplegia can be cured. Isn't that shocking? At this time, Masao Kobayashi felt a burst of warmth in his abdomen, and the warmth quickly spread throughout his body. The places it went was hot and comfortable. He couldn't help but sigh, "It's really amazing, I haven't felt my legs for a long time, but the medicine actually made me feel my legs start to get hot." A few minutes later, he felt that his whole body was filled with a powerful sense of strength, as if he had suddenly returned to the state he was 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. He was so excited that he tried to control his legs and wanted to stand up. He didn't expect that with a little effort, he would really stand up. Oh my God! The people around were amazed. Jiro has been stunned. He is learning medicine, he naturally knows that there is a problem with the nervous system, and how difficult it is to treat it. No matter how rich people are, once they are paralyzed, they cannot be cured completely, and it is impossible even to stand up. However, this magical medicine only took 10 minutes to make his father, who had been paralyzed for more than 3 years, stand up. This is too amazing. In this way, it can not only cure high paraplegia, hemiplegia, and stroke, but also treat diseases such as Parkinson's. After all, they are all related to the nervous system. Then this medicine is really an invincible magic medicine. At this moment, Masao Kobayashi tried to move forward. He thought he would be stumbling, but he didn't expect that he felt flat and relaxed. Masao Kobayashi is so excited. He walked faster and faster, and even turned, jumped slightly, and even trod a few steps. The whole person was in an extremely good state. Not only was he cured of his paralysis, but he was also 20 years younger. The health doctor of the Kobayashi family immediately went forward to check his condition and said shockedly, "President, your damaged nervous system is really fully restored. This is a medical miracle." Yet, a miracle. This is a miracle that Amaterasu may not be able to achieve even when he appears. Masao Kobayashi was almost mad with excitement. Just when he was ecstatic and excited, Charlie called. "Mr. Masao Kobayashi, how do you feel?" Masao Kobayashi was completely convinced by the magic drug at this time, and he blurted out excitedly, "Mr. Charlie, I accept your terms. I will purchase the patent for this magic drug for 10 billion. Charlie snorted and said, "I will send you the card number, and you will send the money in 20 minutes. Otherwise, I will expose what you did to the whole world." Masao Kobayashi hurriedly said, "Mr. Charlie, please rest assured, I will arrange for the financial staff to transfer the money. For the entire Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals, all the funds on the books add up to a little more than 10.2 billion, of which more than 70% are loans." However, for Masao Kobayashi, this tens of billions of spending is worth it. With this magic drug, Kobayashi Pharmaceutical will surely become the world's top pharmaceutical company in the future. A few minutes later, Charlie received a text message reminder: Japan's Kobayashi Pharmaceutical has transferred $1.427 billion into his account, equivalent to 10 billion. The money has arrived. Charlie smiled slightly and said to Masao Kobayashi, "Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Ichiro and I wish you good luck together." After speaking, he immediately hung up. Ichiro said excitedly, "Mr. Wade, since you have received the money, can you let me go now?" Charlie smiled mysteriously and said, "You're so anxious to leave." Ichiro said excitedly, "I want to go back to Tokyo quickly and prepare to take over Kobayashi Pharmaceutical." Charlie laughed and said, "Mr. Kobayashi, don't worry, in half an hour, you may beg me to take you in." "What do you mean?" Ichiro asked in surprise, "Are you going to regret it?" Charlie sneered, and said arrogantly, "You always talk with Charlie. If you want to go, you can leave now, but if you run back and ask me to protect you, then I will consider it." Ichiro frowned, not knowing what Charlie meant, but he just wanted to go back to Japan at this time, so he hurriedly said, "Thank you, Mr. Charlie, for your kindness, but please send me and my hands to the airport. I want to buy the earliest airplane back to Japan." Charlie shook his head, "You can go, but the 5 of them can't." Ichiro hurriedly asked, "What does this mean?" Charlie said, "These 5 people were not included in the deal we just talked about. Moreover, these 5 people dared to commit armed robbery on our land. This is a heinous crime and a price must be paid." Ichiro blurted out, "Mr. Charlie, there is no need to rush to exterminate them, right?" Charlie said indifferently, "If you don't kill chickens to show the monkeys, tomorrow there may be Dalian Pharmaceutical, Matsushita Pharmaceutical and Sony Pharmaceuticals coming to China to behave recklessly. If you push me more, I will have your tongue cut off." Ichiro looked horrified. He glanced at the 5 subordinates who were confused because they couldn't understand the language. He gritted his teeth and said, "Okay. Then please send me to the airport first." Charlie said to Mr. Orville, "Mr. Orville, you send him personally. If he cries to you later and says that he wants to come back, then you can bring him back again, but before bringing him back, find a place to stop the car, hit him, let him remember." "Good." Mr. Orville nodded respectfully, and said to Ichiro, "Mr. Kobayashi, please." Ichiro looked at Charlie and said seriously, "Mr. Charlie, you seem to be too confident. I will never return to this ghost place. Goodbye." Charlie smiled without saying a word. It is estimated that in another 20 minutes or half an hour, your old master Masao Kobayashi will be cold, and there is 90% chance of your brother thinking that you deliberately harmed the old master. Even if he doesn't doubt you, in order to eradicate your troubles, he will definitely push the death of the old master on you. At that time, maybe you will be chased by Kobayashi Pharmaceutical, dare to return to Japan. It will be strange not to be chopped into meat. Mr. Orville drove to the airport with Ichiro full of excitement. Ichiro is very excited now. Although the family has suffered severe bleeding and gave Charlie 10 billion, his father's paralysis is cured. Moreover, Kobayashi Pharmaceutical also got the prescription of the magic medicine. With this prescription, Kobayashi Pharmaceutical will soon be able to usher in rapid development. When he becomes the chairman of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical Co., Limited, you will be able to reach the pinnacle of his life. Therefore, now he can't wait for himself to grow a pair of wings and immediately return to Tokyo to accept his father's parents' and family's worship. At this moment, in Tokyo, Japan, Masao Kobayashi, who has finally recovered to health, is experiencing the beauty of youth with excitement. His physical condition has improved to an incredible level, so much so that he can't wait to find two young girls quickly to experience the refreshment after a long absence. On the way out of the airport, Kobayashi had to drive by himself. Two of his favorite things in his life, one is a woman, the other is a car. For him, both of these can bring him a strong sense of control. Women will not be easy to find for a while now, and when it recovers, he will find a woman. It may not be a good reputation for him, let alone the second son is still around. But, driving is always possible, right? Of course Jiro did not dare to disobey his father's decision. After all, he is already very passive now. If he waits for his eldest brother to return, then he will become a hero of the Kobayashi family, and he will be more passive then, so he must coax his father well at this time. So he hurriedly said, "Father, why don't you drive my Bentley sports car? Didn't you like speed the most when you were young? That car is very dynamic, and it happens to be late at night, there are no cars on the road, you can take it for a run." "Okay." Masao Kobayashi laughed and got into Jiro's Bentley sports car. Jiro hurriedly got into the co-pilot and said respectfully, "Father, I did not expect that you could still ride the car I drove in this life. When I was a child, I liked to ride in the car that my father drove the most. At that time I had a strong sense of security." Masao Kobayashi nodded, and sighed, "Jiro, this is a person's good fortune. Amaterasu might not have thought that I would have such an opportunity. This is simply the second spring of my life." Next to him, Jiro sat up with excitement and said, "Father, start the car. I can't wait to feel the greatness of my father's love again." Masao Kobayashi gave a hum, smiled and stretched out his hand to press the button for starting the engine. However, after he stretched out his hand, he suddenly felt his body instantly stiffened, and the whole person suddenly lost control of his body. Jiro watched his father's hand hanging in the air, but never pressed the activation button. He couldn't help asking, "Father, are you too excited?" Masao Kobayashi was speechless, so he could only whimper twice as hard as he could. At this time, he already felt very difficult to breathe and was about to suffocate to death. When Jiro looked at his father, he was shocked. His father's face was black and purple, and the blood vessels on his neck and forehead were all violent, and the blue veins looked terrifying. Jiro panicked, and blurted out, "Father! What's wrong with you?" Masao Kobayashi felt a pair of big hands stuck to his neck. He looked at Jiro with an expression of extreme pain, and said with all his strength, This medicine is poisonous." After speaking, the body suddenly lost all strength, tilted his head, foaming at the mouth. The medicine finally exerted its ultimate effect and killed Masao Kobayashi. Masao didn't know when he was dying, the medicine he took was such a devil's medicine. At this moment, Jiro hurriedly pushed the car door, and shouted at the family members who were about to board other vehicles, "Father is poisoned. The magical medicine my brother brought back is poisonous." When everyone heard this, it was like being struck by lightning. A large group of people swarmed in, and the family doctor hurried to check. "It doesn't matter if they look at it, the old master is really dead." At this time, Masao Kobayashi's expression was extremely distorted and terrifying. His complexion was black and his eyes were bloodshot, his mouth was open, and his death was extremely miserable. After the doctor stepped forward to check, he tremblingly said, "The president, he really died of poison. Is the magic medicine poison?" The members of the entire Kobayashi family felt as if they were up there for a while, and they couldn't stand still. If this magical medicine is poison, then, that would be a heavy loss. Not only did the president's life wasted, but almost all of the cash that Kobayashi had now was remitted to the other party, most of which were bank loans. In this way, in the future, if Kobayashi Pharmaceutical repays the loan, it will take at least 10 or 8 years to repay it. How can there be any chance for rapid development? It is conceivable that the future of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical will be in a slump. Jiro looked extremely gloomy on the side. Although he was also very distressed, but in his heart, he was also faintly excited. Because he knew that in this way, his brother, Ichiro, would never be able to threaten him. Not only can he not threaten him, but he will also kill him. Killing father is a capital crime. As long as he dares to return to Japan, he will be chopped into meat sauce. Wrong. Even if he does not return to Japan, he will send someone out to hunt him down. Thinking of this, he immediately coldly said, "Brother Ichiro must have killed father. We can't forgive him for doing such a rebellious thing." The folklore of Japan is similar to that of China. In the traditions of these two countries, father killing is the biggest crime in the world. So, Jiro gritted his teeth and said, "Now, I officially announce that Ichiro must pay the price of his life for killing father and rebelliousness. I have passed my order that I will temporarily take over the chairman of Kobayashi Pharmaceutical Co., Limited, and at the same time announce to all gangs in Japan. The mission, kill Ichiro, Kobayashi Pharmaceutical is willing to give him 1 billion yen. 1 billion yen, which is almost 50 million yuan, is a huge sum. Although Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals has just lost 10 billion and suffered a huge loss, it is a world-renowned pharmaceutical company after all. Lean camel is bigger than a horse. Even if the future will be very difficult, it is not difficult to spend 1 billion yen. This billion yen bonus is enough for all Japanese gangs to hunt down Ichiro. As long as he dies, he can naturally become the official chairman of the company. The assistant of Ichiro was frightened by this sight. He hurried away from the airport while everyone was not paying attention to him. At the same time, he called Ichiro. As soon as the call was connected, he cried and said, "Mr. Ichiro, you don't come back to Japan. The master is dead, and the second master thinks that your magic drug killed him. Now he has a reward of 1 billion yen to killing you." When Ichiro heard this, he was frightened suddenly. Father is dead? And he died after taking his magical medicine? How is this possible? Could it be that magical medicine is poisonous in itself? Thinking of this, he was angry and frightened, and he wished to confront Charlie face to face. It's fine if he lied to own 10 billion, and poisoned the old master to death. Isn't this too cruel? However, if you think about Charlie's opponent again, what is the use of confronting him? Father is dead, it is impossible to resurrect, and it is impossible for Charlie to return the 10 billion. At this time, the assistant hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, you can find a place in China to hide well. Don't show up in a short time. I guess from tomorrow, there will be many Japanese gang members and killers who will come to Oris Hill to find you. To take you down." Upon hearing this, Ichiro was even more panicked. This is terrible, 1 billion yen is offered as a reward for his head, maybe he doesn't know how to die. He suddenly remembered what Charlie said. He said to Mr. Orville that if he cried and said he wanted to go back, then he would take him back. It seemed that he knew something like this would happen. It is estimated that he specially set up a set and killed his father with poison. At this moment, Ichiro couldn't wait to smash Charlie into 10,000 pieces. However, thinking about it again, he can't go back to Japan now. If the Japanese gang members come to chase him tomorrow, he will have nowhere to hide in Oris Hill. It seems that only Charlie is his way of survival. After all, he has a strong background in China. No matter what gang in Japan, he cannot be his opponent. So, he immediately said to Orville, "Orville, could you please send me back to Mr. Charlie? Please." Mr. Orville nodded faintly, pulled the car over, then walked to the co-pilot, opened the door and dragged Ichiro out, and without a word, he hit him with a punch in the face. Ichiro yelled when he was beaten, and blurted out, "Mr. Wade, what are you doing?" Orville said, "This is what our Charlie explained. If you say you want to go back, let me beat you up first, and then take you back." After finishing speaking, he kicked him to the ground and rode on him, and the big ears bowed left and right. Although Orville was older, he was a gangster, and his physical fitness was different from ordinary people. These few times made Ichiro dizzy, but Ichiro didn't dare to pretend to be forced by him, for fear of being abandoned. After Orville beat him up, he dragged him, threw him back into the car, and drove back to the kennel. When he returned to the kennel, Ichiro's other 5 men had been fed the dogs. As soon as Ichiro was brought in, he cried and questioned Charlie, "Mr. Wade, why are you using fake drugs to lie to us? You hurt my father, he died, and now I am chased by my own brother. You are so vicious." Charlie curled his lips and said contemptuously, "Is your brain broken? When did I lie to you with fake drugs?" Ichiro said angrily, "My dad died suddenly after taking your medicine. Do you dare to say that it is not the medicine?" Charlie shrugged his shoulders and said, "Can you take the medicine yourself? The whole process of this matter is, you took the poison yourself. Listen carefully, you took it, understand? I didn't give it to you." After speaking, Charlie said again, "You robbed the poison yourself, you sent someone to give the poison to your dad, and then your dad died after eating the poison you sent to him. It's all your own. What does the trouble have to do with me? I asked you to grab the poison." Ichiro was speechless. Charlie was right. From the very beginning, he took someone to Tiankai to grab the medicine, but he didn't expect that it was not a magic medicine at all, but a poison. Even if Tiankai and Charlie joined forces to put them down, there was no way for him to sue him. After all, he was a robber and thief, and everything was his responsibility. Therefore, people in the family, especially their younger brothers, cannot forgive him. They will definitely put the charge of killing Dad on him. Thinking of this, Ichiro knelt down to Charlie with a puff, crying and said, "Mr. Wade, this matter is indeed all my fault. I have a bad heart. I went to the genius doctor to grab the medicine. Please take me. It's also considered indirectly helping you earn 10 billion. Save my life, otherwise, I'll be dead." Charlie nodded and said, "I can temporarily take you in a kennel for a period of time. As long as you are still in this kennel, your brother and the Japanese gang will never find you." Ichiro was relieved, and quickly kowtowed to Charlie, saying, "Thank you, Mr. Wade, thank you, Mr. Wade." Charlie said, "Accept you, but you can't eat and die here. You have to do whatever you need." After speaking, Charlie said again, "Let's do this. You first help at the kennel, raising the dog, walking the dog, and handling the dog's excrement." Although Ichiro was 10,000 unhappy in his heart, he dared not say a word at this moment, so he nodded repeatedly and said, "No problem, Mr. Wade, I can do all these things." Charlie nodded in satisfaction, and said to Orville, "Mr. Orville, you go to make arrangements and let him help you at the kennel in the future, and then take care of him." Orville immediately said respectfully, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will make arrangements." Charlie said with a hum, "Okay, Kobayashi, you can follow Mr. Orville." Ichiro was thankful for following Orville out of the dark. After he left, Isaac stepped forward and asked carefully, "Mr. Wade, do you really want to keep this little Japanese in the kennel?" Charlie said with a smile, "Keep him for now, and then wait for his brother to raise the price." For his brother, if his brother does not die, his position as the chairman will be unstable, and the more he can't be found. The more anxious he became, when he raised the price to 1 or 2 billion, he would sell him to his brother. Isaac was surprised and said, "In that case, Ichiro must die. He deserves to die." Charlie said this, sneered, and said, "Kobayashi Pharmaceutical has repeatedly plagiarized our herbal medicine. This time I want to grab it directly. Do you think it is decades ago, when they invaded us? Since they dared to grab us, they must pay a price, otherwise, wouldn't they let people laugh at our Chinese children for not being tough enough?" Isaac said embarrassingly, "Mr. Wade, you have ruined them by 10 billion. People also took the life of the father in the family. Is the price of the Kobayashi family not enough?" Charlie smiled slightly, "Of course it's not enough. I have to make Ichiro pay the price of his life for what he did. Otherwise, he thinks that after coming to China he could go wild, it will be enough to lose some money in his life, dreaming." Ichiro didn't know that the moment Charlie took him in, he was already preparing to sell him. Charlie didn't have any sympathy for Ichiro, on the contrary, in the depths of Charlie's heart, he still hated him very much. "Fortunately, I was on guard tonight. Otherwise, what if the real medicine on Tiankai is robbed?" Although not sure whether the Japanese can analyze their own prescriptions, but once they really figure it out, won't they succeed? Therefore, in his opinion, the actions of these Japanese people should be blamed. Whether it is the 6 dead men in black, Masao Kobayashi in Tokyo, or Ichiro who is about to die, it is entirely self-blame. Before dawn, Isaac drove Charlie home. Along the way, Isaac had a new understanding of Charlie's strength. He originally thought that Charlie was the down-and-out young master who lived outside the Wade family. Now that he has been found, his biggest support is the Wade family. But he didn't expect this young master to have such a powerful strength. Not only did he let many people from the upper class in Oris Hill treat him respectfully in a short period of time, and now he even uses tricks to call the Kobayashi pharmaceutical pit in Japan a miserable one. Bai gave Charlie 10 billion, not to mention, but also took in the life of Masao Kobayashi, and it won't be long before Ichiro's life will also come in. Such a skill made Isaac look at Charlie with admiration, and even deep inside, there was a bit more intense fear. Charlie sat in the back of his car and said nothing. When he was about to get home, he suddenly said to Isaac, "Remember not to report to the Wade family about today's affairs." Isaac nodded hurriedly, and said respectfully, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will keep my mouth shut." Isaac is just a spokesperson for the Wade family in Nangguang province, but for the entire Wade family, there are dozens or hundreds of spokespersons like him in the Wade family, all over the country, and even around the world. Therefore, it is difficult for Isaac to climb up. But Charlie is in Oris Hill now, this is his best chance to climb up. If Charlie can be appreciated, then one day Charlie will return to East Cliff and inherit the family, and he will be able to ascend to heaven. Therefore, he had already made a decision in his heart to treat Charlie as Master Wade, and as the only master, serve him well and be his dog. Charlie was very satisfied with his attitude, nodded, and asked, "Yes, Fredman from the Wilson family in East Cliff, and Wu Qi from the Wu family in Oris Hill, Suzhou and Hangzhou. Have you heard of the current situation? Isaac himself has a very powerful force in Oris Hill." Before Charlie appeared, Mr. Orville almost wanted to be his dog licking, so his intelligence network in Oris Hill was very powerful. Charlie believed that many things could not escape him. Eyeliner. Isaac also replied very simply, "Back to the young master, Fredman ran to the People's Hospital tonight. It is said that it was ulcerated there. The doctor said that 80% of them could not be saved and suggested that he amputate his limbs." Went. Charlie smiled and said, "I guess Fredman took medicine randomly, right?" "Almost." Isaac said, it is said that the Wei family has developed a new drug and asked him to try it first, but something went wrong. Charlie nodded. He was very clear about Fredman's situation. He used his true energy to directly destroy his nerves. In other words, he would not be able to regain his ability in his life. Not to mention that Tiankai did not give him the medicine. Even if he did, it would be of no avail. If Fredman insisted on taking medicine indiscriminately to try to restore his abilities there, it would only allow the medicine power to accumulate in the roots, which could easily lead to tissue necrosis. It seems that the Wei family is in trouble this time, and Fredman is not a difficult kid, but a life-defying evil spirit. If the Wei family is not able to do that, he will never let go. At this time, Isaac said, the second young master of the Wu family is now tied up in the Oris Hill Sanity Lab Hospital. It is said that he has a very strange disease. He has to eat shit every hour. If he does not eat, he will die. Father and his brother flew over overnight and brought experts, but they were useless for birds. Now it is said that he is fed shit once an hour, which can barely save his life. Speaking of this, Isaac sighed, I can be considered well informed, but this is the first time I heard of this kind of thing. If it weren't for seeing the video on YouTube, I wouldn't believe it would not happen. It's really a big world, everything is amazing. Charlie nodded, and asked curiously, where are his father and his brother? Isaac said, the current head of the Wu family is Wu Qi grandfather. However, although the Wu family is run by Wu Qi father, Regner, who is the eldest son, has already begun to take over the family business on a large scale. Not surprisingly, he must be the next generation Wu patriarch. After speaking, Isaac said again, as for Wu Qi brother Roger, he just graduated from Cambridge University the year before, and now he has begun to take over part of the family business under Regner's guidance. Regner also regards Roger as a second nurtured by a generation of heirs. Charlie nodded. He knew that the Wu family had a relatively strong background and was considered the number one family in Oris Hill, but in his eyes, the Wu family was really not afraid. He taught the second son of their family because their second son was a brutal. If the Wu family refused to accept it and wanted to pursue it, then he wouldn't mind having fun with them. At this time, Isaac's car stopped downstairs at Charlie's house. Charlie pushed the car door and said lightly, "You have been running around all night, and you have worked hard. Go back and rest early." Isaac nodded hurriedly, "Okay master, thank you for your concern." After getting off, the sky in the east was already pale. When Charlie returned home, his wife Claire and his father-in-law were still asleep. He returned to the bedroom lightly, seeing Claire lying on the bed sleeping soundly, he was relieved immediately. Because of the 9 profound heaven scriptures, his mental state has always been very good. Even if he didn't rest all night, he didn't feel tired. So he took out the 300-year-old purple ginseng that was bought for 100 million at auctions yesterday. Carefully observed for a moment. This superb purple ginseng has a lot of medicinal strength, and it is more than enough to refine the rejuvenating pills with better medicinal effects. The medicinal effect of this rejuvenating pill is very magical, it can make dead wood come in spring. If the dying person takes it, he can rise from the dead and keep his life for several years. Those who are in their old age can prolong their life by 10 years or even longer if they take it. Even if it is taken by a healthy ordinary person, it can make the body stronger, resistant to all poisons, and no disturbance to all diseases. To ordinary people, it can definitely be regarded as magic medicine in the world of medicine. Although Charlie's body is already too much stronger than that of ordinary people, for him, if he can make a rejuvenating pill and take it regularly, his body can also be continuously tempered with medicine, and thus go further. Therefore, Charlie decided to take time today to prepare all the remaining medicinal materials and refine the rejuvenating pills first. Ch. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Claire woke up quietly. Charlie heard the movement and hurriedly pretended to be asleep, lying motionless on the floor. After Claire got up, sat on the bed and stretched out, looking at Charlie who was sleeping on the floor, suddenly a little distressed. Ever since Charlie married her and became a live-in son-in-law, he has been sleeping on the floor for more than 3 years. When he first got married, Claire really didn't feel anything about Charlie, and didn't like him at all. However, after getting along these few years, she didn't know why, she felt more and more that with Charlie by her side, she would feel particularly safe. Sometimes, even for fear that he would leave her suddenly. During the recent period of time, so many things have happened at home, and it has made Claire feel more and more that Charlie is actually the person she can rely on most in this world. Apart from him, her dearest relatives are more than one. Not reliable. Naturally, there is no need to talk about Grandma, she didn't regard her as family at all. As for her mother, it is also difficult for her to say a word. In her mother's eyes, she is the tool for her to reach the pinnacle of life and lead a rich life. Even if she has been married to Charlie for more than 3 years, she still hopes that she and Charlie get divorced and then married her to a rich man. But her father was confused all day long. He would burn a lot of scent if he didn't get into trouble outside, let alone give her a little support at critical moments. Therefore, it seemed that Charlie, who was sleeping on the floor, was the most reassuring. Just as she looked at Charlie and the warmth in her heart was surging, the door of the room was suddenly pushed open. As soon as she looked up, she saw her mother Elaine rushing in aggressively in her pajamas. Claire couldn't help asking, "Mom, what are you doing? Why did you come in without knocking?" Elaine quickly ran to the other side of the bed, looked down, and saw Charlie asleep on the ground. Then she breathed a sigh of relief and muttered, "I had a nightmare. I dreamed that you were pregnant with Charlie's child, it almost scared me to death. So I came over to see if Charlie slept in your bed. Fortunately not." After speaking, Elaine reminded her while massaging her heart, "I'm telling you, I can't let Charlie get into your bed, do you hear me?" Claire annoyed and said, "Mom, Charlie and I are husband and wife, it doesn't matter how we sleep." Elaine pinched her waist and said, "You were born to me, everything has to do with me. I can't allow my daughter's body to be occupied by this stinky silk." Claire said angrily, "Mom, Charlie saved your life." Elaine, with one hand on her hips and swinging one hand, said earnestly, "Don't talk to me about that useless thing. Your mother and I have been walking in the arena for so many years, relying on only 4 words, heartless." After speaking, Elaine added seriously, "You have to be smart, a girl, the most valuable thing is her body, your body, with your looks, will divorce Charlie in the future. Why can't you find a billionaire? By that time, won't our family be in full bloom?" Claire shook the quilt angrily, got up, and said, "I am too lazy to tell you, I'm going to wash." "Hey, you kid," Elaine hurriedly chased her out, wanting to continue to educate her. Charlie opened his eyes only after the mothers left the house, and felt a little bit of fire in his heart. This devil's mother-in-law is really an unfamiliar white-eyed wolf, and he will have to teach her a lesson someday. At 7:30, Charlie pretended to have just woke up, and after getting up to wash, he went out to buy something and come back earlier. Claire hurriedly went to the company after eating. Elaine put down the dishes and she had to drag her old man Jacob to Thompson's villa. The villa has not been renovated yet, and she has lost a bit of patience. Jacob was unwilling to go and persuaded her. There are several floors in the villa, which add up to 1,000 square meters. The decoration is already very laborious. If you say less, you have to plan according to the time of more than half a year. It is useless if you are anxious. Elaine said dissatisfied, "I don't care. I have lived enough in this broken house. If the decoration is not good next month, then I would rather go to sleep in a rough villa instead of staying here." After finishing speaking, Elaine urged, "Don't talk nonsense, go change clothes numbly, drive me over to see, and urge the progress, otherwise, I'll take all the bottles and cans you bought. I will throw it out." Jacob has nothing to pursue in life. He just likes to fiddle with antiques. Although he is always scammed and bought a lot of tattered things, he himself always feels that those things are very valuable, even if they are not valuable now, wait a few years. It will be very valuable, so it has always been regarded as a treasure. Now that Elaine threatened to throw away all his treasures, he immediately relented. Okay, can't I go with you?" Elaine pushed him and said, "Then what are you still inking? Change your clothes." Jacob said with a sad face, "I haven't finished half of the fried dough sticks yet, you let me finish my meal anyway." Eat, you know how to eat." Elaine said annoyedly, "You will be like Charlie immediately. After eating, sleeping, eating, and nothing else." Jacob said with a gloomy look, "Okay, I won't eat any more." After speaking, quickly got up and changed clothes. When he returned after changing his clothes, Elaine urged him to go out. Seeing that everyone in his family was gone, Charlie took out his mobile phone and called Qin Gang, asking him to send over 30-odd medicinal materials he asked for according to his request, and he was going to refine a little rejuvenation pill. Qin Gang naturally agreed and said that he would bring the medicine to him as soon as possible. As soon as he hung up the phone, Charlie received a call from Tiankai. As soon as Tiankai came up, he respectfully asked, "Mr. Wade, did you catch the Japanese who grabbed medicine yesterday?" "Caught him." Charlie smiled and said, "I dug a hole for them, but they jumped in unexpectedly." Tiankai was surprised and said, "Mr. Wade, I heard from my friends in the medical circle this morning that Masao Kobayashi of Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals in Japan passed away from a sudden illness early this morning. Shouldn't you tell me the 4 pills you gave? Is the pill related to the incident?" Charlie said faintly, "Masao died because of the 4 pills I gave you. Those 4 are not panacea at all, but poison." Tiankai had long expected that Charlie gave him a problem with the pill. Hearing this, he couldn't help but exclaimed, "Mr. Wade, you really know things like a god. If you didn't plan ahead, the magic medicine you gave me might be lost. The Japanese took it. While talking, he suddenly heard Tiankai's granddaughter's Hovia's voice on the phone, saying, "Grandpa, Mr. Barona Wei and Liang Wei from the Wei family are here." Wei family? Tiankai frowned. What are they doing here? Charlie heard this and smiled. I heard that after Fredman took the Wei family medicine yesterday, the roots began to fester. They came to beg you, maybe they just hope you can help. Tiankai said immediately, Mr. Wade, don't worry, that Fredman dares to disrespect you, even if he dies in front of me, I will not save him. At this time, Barona and Liang were being stopped by the guys from the clinic. Excuse me, do you have an appointment? The guy looked at Barona very vigilantly. He hadn't met Barona, and there were too many messy people who came to clinic for genius doctors in the past 2 days, so he didn't dare to let people in casually. Barona hurriedly said, "Hello little brother, I am Barona, the eldest master of the Wei family. Please inform the genius Dr. Tiankai that there were many offenses at the Traditional Medicine Expo. I came here today to apologize and ask the genius Dr. Tiankai to give him an apology. An opportunity to apologize in person." The man said coldly. The genius Dr. Tiankai said, "Those who have not made an appointment will not see him, so please go out quickly. Please be polite to me, I am also the eldest master of the Wei family anyway, I will tell, sorry, we at the clinic doesn't know any Wei family, so you should go out quickly, otherwise I will call someone." The guy still didn't give up, and didn't give Barona any face, and directly pushed him out. "Don't, little brother, if you have something to say." Barona immediately panicked when he saw this. He came here today to beg Tiankai to take action and save Fredman. If Fredman's roots really festered to the point of amputation, then the Wei family would be really miserable. In the eyes of the Wei family, Tiankai is probably the only one who can save Fredman now. Not to mention the extravagant hope that Tiankai completely cure Fredman. As long as he can cure his fester, the Wei family can be considered to have escaped the disaster. Therefore, he placed most of his hopes on Fredman. If this were to let his father know that he hadn't even seen Tiankai's face, he would definitely be furious. Liang, the illegitimate son of the Wei family, stood by just watching, not daring to speak. This time his father Yang Zheng said that whoever can solve this crisis can become the chairman of Wei's pharmaceutical, so the first thing he thought of was to ask Tiankai for help. However, he didn't expect his brother Barona to have the same idea, so he could only be a follower and follow Barona. Barona wanted to see Tiankai as soon as possible, so he shouted into the clinic, "Mr. Shi, we have a life-saving thing to look for you, please let us in." The dude was also angry. "I said that he won't see you without an appointment. Are you not too shameless to shout like this?" At this time, Tiankai had ended the call with Charlie and stepped out. Walking to the door, seeing the two brothers of the Wei family, Tiankai said coldly, "Why are you two making trouble in my clinic?" Seeing Tiankai coming out, Barona pushed the guy aside and said quickly, "Genius Dr. Tiankai, I am Barona from the Wei family. This time I am looking for your help." Tiankai's expression was a little bit sullen, and he said, "I remember you. On the day of the Traditional Medicine Expo, you were disrespectful to Mr. Wade, and now you dare to come to me to make trouble." Barona hurriedly begged, Don't get me wrong. On the day of the Traditional Medicine Expo, I was also confused and offended Charlie for a while. Please also ask you not to remember the villain and forgive me this time. Impossible. Tian Kai said coldly, Mr. Wade is kind to me. You offend him, it is more serious than offending me, so no matter what you ask me to do for you, I will not agree, please go back. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description, rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.